In Kampala, we have a community resource center. And center really gets like, I didn't know that we have an
please, you don't mention Oya. Please, you don't mention Oya.
So these places, both a big organization to set up the 30 spaces, create 30 low-cost community-based learning hubs. So we have 6 places in Oyam. Unfortunately, I can just remember 2 village names. I know Minakru and Achimi.
Minakulu and Achimi.
Yes. Could be young human resource, could be a business, a bigger business that could do some CSR and empower these young people. So I believe that communities have solutions.
That is true.
Just need to ignite that. I've been married forever. In my early 20s. So I've been married. I have 2 daughters.
Before you became an expatriate?
I became an expatriate, and I think my future husband, my husband now, I was dating him then, figured I was going to be unreachable and unattainable.
And decided I must put a ring on it before she disappears.
But he's really been supportive. I can't say I failed to do any work because of marriage. Of course, there are responsibilities of being a mother and feeling like inadequate, like you're not being maybe a mother enough.
Yeah, I know that, like the mother guilt.
Yeah, it is there. But I am a mother of 2 beautiful girls.
Wow.
I hope to have more children. I used to want only 2 children, but now I changed my mind.
You want more?
I want more, and I think I will adopt a child in future as well, if I can. Children melt my heart, and I can't wait to possibly change a child's life, even though maybe I didn't birth them.
That I can tell you that when you adopt a child, there is a fulfillment that you're actually doing. You're supporting God to do His work, because there are so many children out there that have no parents. I'm saying that because I do that a lot. When I find a child that my heart has pulled, I find myself saying, come, I'm going to be your mother. I'm going to be your mother. And I just keep, and people keep asking me, where are you going to get the money from to take care of that child? Like what I eat, that child will eat. Exactly. So it's very fulfilling. What an inspiring story about the education sector. We don't get very many teachers who are so proud to be teachers, and I'm really proud of you, Shamim. So that means that every sector has something magical about it. It depends on how you want to take it. You can choose to just wake up in the morning and go and do the teaching. But you know what? I had somebody say on Twitter, that is Ojo Kokot from Gulu, he said, stop thinking outside the box, but think without the box. So in other words, stop being in that box and just think widely about how you can make that career even better. Until next time, my name is Okelo Sharon Nagenjua, and this is Triumph Women Beating the Odds. Don't forget to follow us on our socials at Girl from Oyam and at Triumph Women UJ.
When the news moves, you move with it on Afro Mobile. Get real-time updates and the moment they unfold. Choose from over 80 live TV and radio channels and follow current affairs your way on the platforms you rely on the road, in the office, in the middle of your work, or out and about. Afro Mobile keeps the story going with you. Download Afro Mobile today and stay connected to every update as it happens.
NBS. Always. NBS Live at 9.
Happy Valentine's Day to all of you, and hope you enjoyed your day and still enjoying the rest of the day. Very good evening and welcome to Live at 9 tonight. My name is Sheila Tsime, joined by Olivia Oblega for sign language interpretation. Let's get into the headlines.
It's quite the tough time that we go through.
In the news tonight, Next Media mourns a senior news reporter, Julius Chitone, killed in tragic Mbara Sanga Road crash.
One of the most dedicated people.
Olara Otunu warns that corruption and silence are eroding Uganda's social fabric as Janan Lugu Memorial Lecture revives call for moral courage. KCCA to enforce street vending ban in Kampala as Buzechi cites sanitation infrastructure protection, among others.
We have obtained the trading spaces.
Artisanal teen miners in Isinjiro plunged into hardship, crime and desperation after government closes Rukujiro mining depots.
And their source of income was closed.
And the good news is,
the school has costed almost 5 billion shillings.
After years of dropouts and distance, government builds Bubiese Seed Secondary School.
This is NBS Live at 9 with Sheila Dusime.
Once again, welcome to Live at 9 tonight. Let's get into the stories. High institutions across Uganda have intensified preparations to align their academic programs with the competency-based curriculum as the country moves closer to admitting the first full cohort of learners trained under the new lower secondary education system. The preparations follow guidance issued by the National Council for Higher Education, directing universities and other tertiary institutions to review and redesign their programs to match the competencies learners acquire at lower levels of education. The reforms emphasizes practical skills, problem-solving ability, and application of classroom knowledge to real-life situations.
Into the government circular issued in 2025 to all vice-chancellors, rectors, principals, higher education institutions, the Minister of Education and Sports directed all higher education institutions to ensure that all academic programs intended for first-year student intake in the 2027-2028 academic year are fully aligned to competence-based learning.
Universities, the Minister of Education has actually directed us to start laying that foundation for competence-based education and integrating this or creating all our curricula to welcome these students who are coming from, who will be coming from Senior 6.
And now we have reached a point where these students are actually supposed to access university education, and they have been studying in the new curriculum, while at the university we maintain the old system of teacher-centered curriculum. So the National Council for Higher Education actually has provided the guidelines for us to change our curricula to suit the CBC and the CBE.
This is meant to accommodate learners who have been studying under the competence-based curriculum, with the first cohort set to sit Senior 6 this year and head to the university next year. While this is the first cohort, the second cohort of students are set to enter Senior 5 following the release of 2025 UCE results, where learners were assessed under the competence-based education. The curriculum assesses the learner's competencies and ability to apply knowledge and skills to offer real-life solutions.
Once a school has been implementing competence-based learning in Senior 4, so implementing it in Senior 5 should not be a problem, because it's the same story, it's the same script, it's the same everything. Sometimes even the teachers who have been teaching in Senior 4 are crossing over to teach in Senior 5, Senior 6.
The current S6, which were the pioneer of the new competent-based curriculum, they have been handled by teachers who handle them at all levels. And they are teaching them the same.
In universities must have moved by now to have courses designed that all these teachers who are getting out of the training institutions have the competence and content that they are going to directly transferred to the learners.
The reforms are being coordinated alongside the National Curriculum Development Centre, which is pushing for full alignment between lower secondary, advanced level and secondary education before the 2027-2028 academic cycle. The transition is part of the broader education reforms being implemented by the Ministry of Education and Sports. In 2024, Senior 4 candidates sat national examinations under the competence-based curriculum. These learners, who are currently in advanced level, are expected to join higher institutions starting the next academic cycle. Another group of learners who completed Senior 4 in 2025 are set to transition to Senior 5 following the recent release of their results, further expanding the pipeline of CBC-trained learners progressing through the system.
Students must be able to go through a system where, by the time they finish, they have particular competencies that they can demonstrate for everyone to see.
Under the CBC model, emphasis is placed on practical skills, critical thinking and the application of knowledge to real-life situations, a shift that universities say requires significant restructuring of traditional lecture-based systems. Higher education learners and other stakeholders acknowledge that the transition will not be without challenges. Key concerns include availability of learning equipment, adequacy of trained teaching staff, and the cost of revising programs to meet the new standards.
The Executive Director of Kampala Capital City Authority, Sharifa Buzechi, has reaffirmed the authority's decision to enforce the ban on street vending in Kampala starting February 19th once the 2-week grace period expires. Addressing journalists at City Hall, Buzechi says the move targets the sanitation concerns, protection of public infrastructure and fair competition among traders operating within gazetted markets.
On February 15th, Kampala Capital City Authority issued a directive banning street vendors operating along major streets and junctions across Kampala. The KCC Executive Director, Sharifa Buzechi, said the directive followed reports that some vendors were selling substandard goods, particularly food items displayed under unsanitary conditions.
We are finding mangoes on the walkways, in the dust, on the streets. This is food which is going into people's bodies. So on the side of the consumer, you are at risk on buying from anyone who is not licensed, who you cannot trace in case you bought a fake product.
Buzechi noted that the authority operates 17 public markets in addition to 69 privately owned markets within the city where vendors can be relocated.
All the street vendors are now aware on where they can find space to trade in.
She added that nearly 2,000 additional vending spaces have been secured in neighboring districts for traders willing to move.
We have also gotten in contact with our colleagues, the town clerks of the 10 cities, Mbarara, Jinja, Mbale, Gulu, where government has constructed markets. You will also be able to go there and get spaces because they have also told us the spaces which are available in those areas.
KCCA is also concerned that street vending has contributed to the destruction of public infrastructure, including pedestrian walkways and flower beds funded by government. The authority further argues that illegal street vending creates unfair competition for traders operating from gazetted buildings who pay rent and taxes. Buzechi warned that enforcement will begin after February 19th and will be carried out jointly with Uganda Police Force and KCCA law enforcement officers.
Enamba yonkulu kuba gyotuwa bw'ogituwa ffe tuteeka mu butesi mu system nga tutegeera nti yabadde musirikale gundi.
She encouraged traders who may struggle to secure immediate physical space to consider online selling platforms, assuring them that KCCA is ready to guide those unfamiliar with digital systems.
And all this information is going to be availed on our website. It is going to be given to the media so that you know you have failed to get a space in the 17 markets of Kampala, Busega, Wandegeya and everywhere, then you are going to the private market.
As the deadline approaches, some vendors remain uncertain about relocation plans, but KCC insists the directive is intended to restore order, improve sanitation and create a fair business environment in the capital.
Now, misery has gripped artisanal miners of tin in Chitagate sub-county in Isinjiro district following the abrupt closure of their depots by the Ministry of Education and Mineral Development. Locals whose survival depended entirely on tin mining say life has since become hard for them, and as such, crimes like robberies and house break-ins have started cropping up.
This is a tin mining depot in Rukurijo village in Chikagati sub-county in Isinjiro district. This depot was in March last year closed by the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development due to lack of a mining license by the artisanal miners.
They just closed abruptly without even telling us which is which. When we went to the LRDC, they told us that maybe we are not following the rules and regulations of the mining.
A few years ago, there was no mining taking place here, but as one of the locals dug his pit latrine, he discovered tin which attracted locals and started the mining activities. Before its closure, this depot attracted over 3,000 artisanal miners, according to Alexander Turnawe, the General Secretary Artisanal Miners for Isinjiro District.
The standard of living of the people had increased. Now, when they closed this place, people started suffering, people has no school fees.
Upon closure of this depot, miners ran to the Isinjiro Resident District Commissioner seeking help, but all in vain. The RDC Adana Sima says immediately after receiving their grievances, she wrote a letter to the Minister for Energy and Mineral Development seeking for her quick intervention, but her efforts are yet to yield results.
It is true, I received a complaint from the Isinjiro artisanal miners, and when I received that complaint, I wrote to the Minister in charge of the sector, and I'm still waiting for the feedback.
This area is now under the surveillance of Mineral Police and nobody is allowed to access it. While it was closed due to lack of a mining license by the artisanal miners, we have reliably been informed that there is a Chinese investor who has the license but still can't carry out the mining activities, which has left locals in total misery.
abamwe babene bakora no mu gihugu umwanya batangiye no kwiba binemo ubuzubu bwo kugira ngo tibine sete nabwe cyo tushaba ngo government tubase kutwigurira.
The affected artisanal miners acknowledge the fact that some of their colleagues had no safety gears to enable them carry out mining, which also contributed much to the closure of this area. While the association leaders have tried to push for a mining license, their efforts are yet to yield anything.
People have no money. People are suffering because they had get their source of income, and their source of income was closed. So we really plead to the government as an association. We plead the government, so if it can open this place, and we start working as usual.
As they continue to push for a mining license, these have also pledged to follow all the mining guidelines set by the ministry to avoid other disruptions in the future.
We promise the government that we shall go by their rules according to the mining policies. We shall go by the government if it can give us an artisanal license.
Tin mining in Isinjiro had transformed the standards of living for locals as they fetched millions from this mineral.
At a public lecture in Lira honoring former Archbishop Janan Luwum, speakers including Ambassador Olara Utunu urged Ugandan leaders and citizens to defend justice, integrity and moral courage. They highlighted Luwum's legacy of conscience over comfort, truth over silence and sacrifice over safety as a guide for addressing corruption, social injustice and division today.
For all the pain.
Messages of moral courage, truth and servant leadership dominated a public lecture held in honor of the former Archbishop Janani Jakalia Luwum, where speakers urged Ugandans to defend justice and integrity in the face of fear, power and social division. Guest speaker Ambassador Olara Utunu reflected on Luwum as an exemplary leader who chose conscience over comfort, truth over silence, and sacrifice over safety.
Prayer is important, and we must continue to pray. But when evil is stalking the land and has taken over and the manifestation is all over the place, we can't say we see no evil, we hear no evil. You must call that evil by its name first and denounce it.
The lecture held at All Saints University Lango Canon Lawrence campus, Boroboro, formed part of activities marking the 49th Janan Luwum Memorial to be observed on Monday, February the 16th. Clergy, students and community members attended the event, the first lecture of its kind organized within Lango Diocese in Luwum's honor. Religious leaders were urged to emulate Luwum's courage in standing against social injustices.
The Church of Uganda must bring along, like Archbishop Janani did, social justice. Putting the ordinary people at the center, their well-being at the center. Providing equality opportunities to all. That is social justice.
Archbishop Luwum reminds the global church that biblical authority is not negotiable, that justification by faith produces courage.
Anglican theologian Ashley Nearl framed the lecture as both a tribute to Luwum and recognition of all victims of violence.
That nothing Idi Amin could do could separate him from the love of God for Janani and so many others. The grave is but the birth canal.
Janan stood his ground. He refused to give in, refused to compromise his integrity, refused to sign the fake document.
Referencing Margaret Ford's biography, Janan, the marking of a matter, now recalled Luwum's interrupted Christmas radio message warning against an unforgiving spirit, jealousy, hatred, and greed, highlighting the continued relevance of these themes to Uganda's social and political climate.
Walking in the light means walking in this power of the Spirit.
Today is a good day to draw up a new play. So start something. Make your move and get in your groove. Do it for the gram. Do it for the culture. Be loud. Be extra. Be a thinker. A life eater. A Tusker light drinker. Start something. Turn on your lights. Tusker lights.
I want to be an engineer. I want to be a chef. I want to be a mechanic. I want to be a musician. I want to be a basketballer.
Cranbrook International School is a school where you will see people from around the world. It's diverse. You will have the opportunity to experience things you've never experienced before. We have highly skilled teachers and a comfortable environment that does not pressure but eases the minds of students to help them into their future careers. Our school integrates art, culture, history, language, and performing arts such as drama, music, music and dance into the academic curriculum. Work smart, succeed. Twinbrook International School.
Buy genuine Decra roofing tiles, the original stone-coated alu zinc steel roofing system from New Zealand. Choose from Heritage, Milano, Shingo, Shake and Classic profiles with a variety of colors and a 50-year warranty. Only available at Depot Uganda. Telephone 0776 898 888 or 0758 853 285. Depot Uganda. Tried, tested and trusted.
So, Muchara.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later.
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get Momo goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165*80# or use the Momo app.
Take a look around, and you'll see everything can be reimagined. Everything rough can be smooth. Everything old can be fresh. Everything can be made vibrant and full of attitude. The world is what you make it, so why not make it yours? Guinness Smooth. Make it yours.
Maria, I'm going to make the mandazi you like today. This is my wife Maria's recipe.
Maria! Maria, we've got the loan! We've got the loan!
But tell me, what's the secret to your success?
Maria is my inspiration. Everything that I do is to make Maria proud.
Welcome back. On a sad note, Next Media is mourning the passing of a senior news reporter Julius Chitone, who died at 35 in a road crash along Mbara-Sanga Road. Chitone was among 8 people who lost their lives following a head-on collision between the vehicle he was traveling in and a trailer. Colleagues and members of the media fraternity have described him as hardworking, determined and humble.
The newsroom and the wider Next Media family are engulfed in deep grief following the passing of colleague and senior news reporter Julius Chitone. News of Chitone's death emerged on Friday evening after an unknown Good Samaritan contacted several newsroom staff, alerting them to the possibility that he had been involved in a fatal road crash. The tragic news was later confirmed by police and family members, who said Chitone was among 8 people who died instantly in a crash along the Mbara-Sanga Road following a head-on collision between the vehicle he was traveling in and a trailer. In a condolence message shared on his ex social media page, the group's CEO, Next Media, Kin Karisa, says, "It is very sad losing Julius Chitone, who died in a car accident. Julius joined us in 2020 and was a transformer who showed up with quiet excellence. I last spoke with him last week. My condolences to his family and our newsroom colleagues. Rest in peace." The senior manager corporate affairs at Next Media, Derek Ford Mugumisa, described Julius Chitone as a dedicated employee who has served the company beyond self.
A very valuable transformer, one that was very passionate about what he did, one that was very proactive in terms of what needed to be done, but also one that was a very quiet guy that just went about his business and all of that.
The newsroom where Chitone was last seen on Wednesday and where he spent countless hours telling stories that shaped public discourse woke up to a somber morning. Colleagues described him as a calm, jovial, disciplined and deeply committed to his work.
It's unfortunate that we have lost Julius Chitone at such a younger age. He's one of those journalists in the newsroom, but also in the entire country, whose future has been promising. And he's that kind of person that you rely on anytime for anything. Very hardworking, very focused, and someone who will not let you down. And by the time he tells you that he has failed, indeed you'll accept that he has failed.
I used to call him when I needed something. Even when I joined Next Media, he used to guide me.
Known for his strong focus on global environmental issues and politics, Chitone was widely respected for his professionalism and fearless approach to covering complex stories. Beyond the emotional void his passing leaves, he is remembered as a dependable and impactful contributor to the daily newsroom operations at NBS TV.
As a newsroom, we have lost a colleague who I personally will remember as one of
here in Africa yet. Why? Because
to the daily newsroom operations at NBS TV.
As a newsroom, we have lost a colleague who I personally will remember as one of
to the daily newsroom operations at NBS TV. To the daily newsroom operations at NBS TV.
As a newsroom, we have lost a colleague who I personally will remember as one of
Now, away from that, after welcoming more than 1.4 million visitors in 2024 and contributing approximately $1.3 billion to the economy, the tourism industry leaders say the next phase of growth must be deliberate, sustainable and competitive as the country looks ahead to 2026. Stakeholders are not only unveiling a new strategic roadmap, but they are also pointing to encouraging gains in wildlife conservation, one of Uganda's biggest tourism assets.
Uganda's tourism industry is positioning itself for its next chapter, with global travel rebounding and African destinations competing more aggressively for the market share. This, as 2026 is being viewed as a strategic milestone, one that could define Uganda's place in the regional tourism landscape. In 2024 alone, the private sector received more than 1.4 million visitors. The industry generated about $1.3 billion and supported over 800,000 jobs, a strong signal of recovery and resilience. But sector leaders say growth in numbers alone is not enough. They argue that the future must be anchored on sustainability, improved service standards and stronger coordination between public and private players. State Minister for Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities Martin Mugara Buhinduka says there is need for unity within the private sector and a commitment to sustainable tourism practices.
I will leave as an assignment to the private sector, because all these neighboring countries have this levy. It is in the Act. How it will be managed and all these other things is in the 2008 Tourism Act. But the people who will make it simple for us to implement it is you, the private sector.
The strategy outlines priorities including skills development, improved employability, strategic partnerships, and expanding Uganda's footprint in key international markets. Mugara notes that strengthening workforce skills and improving market access will be critical if Uganda is to compete effectively with other destinations.
If the private sector says it is okay, we can do business with that small contribution, then now we can go ahead. There will be no problem with finance. But you have to tell us, would it make the destination more expensive?
Development partners echoed the importance of structured collaboration.
It's about quality, it's about sustainability, it's about innovation, and it's about strong public-private collaboration.
Meanwhile, Uganda Tourism Association President Yewagnesh Birigwa said the new roadmap is designed to reposition the private sector as a stronger, more coordinated voice within the industry.
The next 5 years, UTA will roll out a nationwide membership and engagement campaign reaching all regions of Uganda, from urban centers to rural destinations, to ensure that tourism enterprises, professionals and community-based initiatives are represented, connected and united under one strong private sector voice.
The Chief Executive Officer, Uganda Tourism Board, Juliana Kagwa, highlighted the importance of targeted branding and strategic promotion as Uganda prepares for increased regional and international travel flows.
And all of us are here to simply make a statement, which is that we are only going to achieve our 2040 vision by coming together.
But beyond strategy and marketing, Uganda's tourism outlook is closely tied to the health of its wildlife, the country's most powerful attraction. According to Bashir Hanji, Public Relations Manager at the Uganda Wildlife Authority, conservation efforts are producing measurable results.
We are doing a population of the current census that's ongoing. We believe it's going to give us a bigger number because, one, we've witnessed quite a number of births. For example, I can tell you that in the last 3 years, we have witnessed not less than 100 births in wind alone. So we expect the population of the gorillas to increase.
If the peak tourism season concluded, authorities say the current dip in visitor numbers is seasonal, with expectations of another surge around June.
Moving on, a new government-built secondary school in Mbale district is offering renewed hope to learners in Wanale sub-county, where students have for decades walked long distances or dropped out altogether in search for secondary education.
For years, pupils completing primary school in Wanale sub-county faced a hard choice: trek several miles to distant schools or abandon education entirely. Learners from Bovesie Primary School were especially affected, with the nearest option Wudwale Secondary School located far from their community. With no nearby secondary school, residents improvised makeshift classrooms to bridge the gap, but the effort fell short. Many students dropped out due to poor facilities and poor teaching services. Former learners Dan Nalugidu and Yefsa Watamali recalled the struggle, saying only 6 out of 28 candidates who sat primary leaving examinations in their year managed to complete secondary education. That reality is now changing. Government has constructed Bovesie Seed Secondary School at a cost of 5 billion shillings, bringing secondary education closer to hundreds of learners.
That school has costed almost 5 billion shillings, where we have put laboratories, we have put classrooms, we have put offices, we have put staff quarters for teachers. So that is a bit to ensure that there is a timely learning.
The area leaders have welcomed the development but expressed concern over persistent teacher absenteeism, warning that indiscipline could undermine the gains made. He cautioned teachers against absenteeism, saying it would not be tolerated.
Our teachers keep on complaining and giving late sections all the time. Yesterday at one, when I went to the school, I found out that teachers were not there, despite the schools opened on 10th. The teacher was not there, the deputy was not there, and none of them is demanding salary. Salary comes timely.
The RDC also affirmed government's commitment to expanding education services across the district to improve retention and learning outcomes. As classrooms open and enrollment rises, residents say Bovesie Seed Secondary School is a second chance for a community once left behind.
The Minister for Kampala, Minister Kavanda, has praised TV organizing the Omanyi wa Land Competition, describing it as a vital platform for promoting knowledge and faith. Speaking at the closing ceremony, the minister urged nationwide to support Islamic schools and religious education to strengthen the Islamic faith in communities. The event concluded a nationwide knowledge contest covering questions on Uganda and Islam. In today's finals, Ali Matan from Buga region emerged as the winner, defeating 5 other national finalists. Salam TV head Karim Kalisa said the station will continue organizing the Omanyi wa Salam competition while extending outreach to communities across the country. Now, feedback. We start with Griffin Nyakojo, who says activating a demerit point system for habitual offenders, implement a point-to-point speed cameras to automatically penalize speeders and increase patrols to combat drunk driving. Okay, that's from Griffins. Nate says, what you call highways in Uganda are cycling in developed countries. You can't stop accidents on narrow single carriage highways with reckless drivers and potholes. Do you see any head-on collision on Northern Bypass or Entebbe Expressway? All highways should be like that. That is from Nate. Now, Live at 9 takes another short break, and we'll be back with more stories, including business and sports.
Kuba mwaka fana nyinga gwali eyo gwa wangudde mwaka mulamba.
essanyu lingi okubanga nawangudde school fees w'omwanange. Era nina essanyu okubanga sigenda sasula school fees. N'omwaka omulambe era ne bazadde ba MTN Momo. Katonda abongere omukisa.
As long as you pay school fees using Momo, you will stand a chance to win school fees for a whole year. The school, you will stand a chance to win a school van. You can also get a school fees loan on Momo. The short code is *165*80#, and you pay school fees and you win school fees for a year.
You got Glovo. You got Glovo. You can order what you want. You can get what you need. You got Glovo. You got it all. Order Glovo and receive it in minutes.
It's back, bigger, and with more business opportunities. It's the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo, Poate 2026, Uganda's flagship tourism event. Poate 2026 will take place from the 21st to the 23rd of May 2026 at the Speak Resort Convention Center, Munyonyo, under the theme Wanderlust. It's your time to thrive. Yes, it's your time to tap into Uganda's renewed optimism and tourism growth. Tourism stakeholders, travel trade partners, and tourism enthusiasts will be part of the Poate 2026. Come and network with like-minded people and unlock new business opportunities. To participate, register at www.poate.co.ug. Poate 2026 is brought to you by Uganda Tourism Board and partners.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Here's how you surrender today and spread those smiles, please. Surrender today and show your smile, please. The world smiles back at you, so come on, smile, please. Spread the smile.
Nile House has provided.
So, Muchala.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later.
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get more goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165*80# or use the Momo app.
Today, we choose our future. We choose peace. Let's protect our home from violence. Differing choices are part of democracy. Every voice matters. Every vote is for our shared country. Trust in the process and the electoral bodies. Let's vote with our hearts and minds, without provocation and intimidation. This is home. Let's keep it safe. Let's talk peace.
Welcome back. In business, senior economists say Africa's industrialization depends on tapping into its own resources, not relying on borrowed money. These say that for the continent to turn the African continent free trade area into a reality with factories, value chains and jobs, Africa needs to mobilize its own capital like pension funds and regional investments. Dr. Agnes Appiah-Atim emphasizes that the real challenge is not trade policy but unlocking domestic capital.
The African Continental Free Trade Area has created the world's largest free trade area by number of countries, with tariffs being lowered, markets opening and cross-border trade is expanding. Unfortunately, many African governments still rely on financing from institutions such as the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. While such financing can stabilize economies, it's often currency volatility, and policy conditionalities that constrain domestic priorities.
But also start looking at it as one of the pipelines that we can start using to mobilize capital among our African countries. Because in Africa, with all the 50 plus countries, we have different levels of growth, right? Now, as a continent, we need to start looking at each other.
She says across Africa, pension funds can manage vast pools of long-term savings, yet much of this capital remains conservatively allocated or invested outside the continent.
Was looking at other alternatives. For example, our pension fund. Do you know that Africa as a continent, if all its corporates and pension funds were put together and invested strategically in a few countries on these key major projects, do you know that we would not even need a World Bank or all these other, big kind of financing institutions. So even as a country, look at our fund, not to say that we should go and start using our pension funds or our NSSF funds, but why not? If our country, if our government have a well-structured financing mechanism, why would government go and buy from a commercial bank, which is not even a Ugandan bank?
Dr. Atib also points to regional cooperation models such as the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, a cross-border infrastructure initiative, demonstrating that African countries can pool resources for major projects.
Or Uganda go and invest in Tanzania. You see what is happening with the ECOP. Now that is the kind of thing I'm talking about. That if there are projects coming to our country and we see that we can collaborate and partner with our other African countries to bring to pull out this capital and invest in such kind of projects. To me, I think Uganda is demonstrating on how we can locally mobilize by what I call Pan-African capital.
Now, sugarcane farmers in Namaingo district have begun cutting down cane plantations due to delays in licensing CN Sugar Factory to resume operations. The farmers have now appealed to President Yoweri Museveni to intervene, warning that the prolonged shutdown threatens livelihoods. They say their strong electoral support deserves urgent government action after months of uncertainty and raising desperation.
In 2024, several farmers in Namaingo district signed contracts as sugarcane outgrowers with CN Sugar Factory, a sugar company being established in the area. However, the factory has faced operational challenges that have delayed the start of production to date. Farmers who committed to growing and supplying cane said the prolonged delay in securing an operational license has caused their crops to overmature and dry up in the fields. The situation has been worsened by reports that the proprietors of the company are no longer visible on the ground, leaving farmers uncertain about the future of the project. The farmers say they are stranded with unsold sugarcane since their contracts bar them from supplying other millers.
Farmers are making losses. We have nowhere to sell sugarcane, more especially the farmers who got aid from the factory. If you get any aid from the company cannot allow you to sell that sugarcane anyway unless you take to that factory, whereby the factory is not working. But according to our wishes, farmers, as the people of Namaingo, our only interest and our only hopes are in CN Sugar. So I'm humbly requesting the minister and the council to put into place action so that this mill can open. Then the people within Namaingo who got loan from the bank start operating. We need an active council that it can really act, can work, can solve the problems of the farmer.
The concerns were raised during a meeting with the resident district commissioner, Eva Kwasiga, held at Kifoyo village. The farmers also appealed to Yoweri Museveni to intervene and allow the factory to commence operations. RDC Kwesiga said the matter has already been forwarded to the Sugar Council for consideration in line with requirements under the new Sugar Act and assured farmers that it is being addressed.
We have agreed that we shall make a document which we shall take to the Prime Minister for consideration, because we have not been helped by the Council. So let us be helped from above.
Meanwhile, the Busoga sugarcane farmers representative on the Sugar Council, Isa Budugo, said in a phone interview that farmers should remain calm, noting that the council is aware of the issue and that necessary steps are underway.
We understand the issue. They were given aid, I know that, but still, even if we give them like a license on Monday, they will not sell the cane immediately because the CM says to complete the remaining work will take them 6 months. So let them just be patient.
Tonight, the 2026 Ramadan Charity Run is set to take place this Sunday with more than 1,500 runners expected to participate. The annual event aims to rally the Muslim community to support underprivileged people during the holy month of Ramadan, with participants enduring a 50-kilometer race.
The purpose of this run is to provide food parcels to the unprivileged Muslims during Ramadan and to all other religions. We collect proceeds that go towards enabling that no person goes hungry, at least during the month of Ramadan, as we extend efforts towards the rest of the year. The charity initiative is sustainable, it is welcoming, it is interfaith driven.
The Ramadan Charity Run initiative, we are more than happy because it makes someone happy when you see the person you have helped happy. We have put a smile to very many families, to very many individuals to whom we have given the food parcels that people have entrusted us with. So we call upon each and every person to come and participate in this Ramadan Charity Run, because we are running for a cause to put a smile to starving people during this period of Ramadan.
Last year we were able to provide 500 food parcels to 500 different families, and this year we are looking at 1,000 to 1,500.
So, Muchala.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later.
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get more goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165*80# or use the Momo app.
Looking for a vacation of a lifetime? Cross the equator and discover Pineapple Bay Resort. Enjoy exceptional life's luxuries. Spend quality time with family, friends, or even that special someone. Get in touch with nature with our range of outdoor activities. The calming tranquility of water, breathtaking views, moving memories around campfires. It's all here. Plus, a club experience like no other at Pineapple Bay Clubhouse. It's a whole vibe. You can hire any of our 3 VIP cruise boats for groups of 10, 14, or 25 people. Or you can cruise out with swag on a luxury yacht for 12 people. Our premium boats are all safety compliant. Make your next vacay an all-round experience at Pineapple Bay, located on Bolago Island, right in the midst of Lake Victoria. Talk to us today.
Now that brings us to the end of Live at 9 for tonight. But as we head out, we have some information from UEDCL about the load management plan for Greater Masaka. So for the people in Masaka, this information is for you, relatives, friends, please give them this information from UEDCL. Now, the Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited informs its customers in Masaka City, Mitala Maria, Chotera, Rakaidi, Tonde, Kalungu, Sembabule that the company is facing supply constraints from its supplier, who is UETCL, due to ongoing refurbishment and maintenance works at the Masaka West 132 kV substation. Thus, from February 12th to the 15th, 2026, UEDCL will implement load shedding on the feeders supplying the communities below between 7 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. to give UETCL engineers ample time to conclude the aforementioned works at the substation while we serve you. Now, they have given the particular dates. On the 12th of February 2026, the affected areas will be Nyukumbu, Chizungu, Chirimya, Chimanya, Chanamkaka, Kalisizo, Chigenya, Dimo, and Damirembe, and the restoration time for these is 9:30. Remember, they said that the load shedding will be between 7 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. So restoration for that first phase will be at 9:30 p.m. On the 13th of February 2026, the affected areas will be Nyendo, Charlesowe, Matanga, Lukaya, Kayambwe, Buama, Nkozi, Chiti, Lusango, Nabusanke, Bukakata, and Kalangala, and the restoration time will still be 9:30. On the 14th of February, Chinoni, Sembabule, Matete, Rwebitakuli, Chetume, and Rwemiaga, restoration time is still 9:30. On the 15th of February, which is tomorrow, the affected areas will be Nyukumbu, Chizungu, Chirimya, Chimanya, Chanamkaka, Kalisizo, Chigenya, Dimo, and Namirembe, and restoration time again will be 9:30 p.m. Therefore, UEDCL encourages the public to make better plans as this load management plan is being carried out. Customers will be informed in advance of any changes to this load management plan. Until the power is fully restored, we further request customers to make sure that all electrical appliances and production lines are disconnected and power sources are turned off. If you realize that your factory premises do not have electricity after the above committed restoration time, customers are encouraged to reach out to all the toll-free lines for UEDCL, and those are 0800203088 or 0800285285. Another alternative number is 0800385385, and they regret any inconveniences caused are regretted. And this is signed by Jonan Chiza, who is the head corporate and stakeholder affairs from UEDCL. That brings us to the end of Live at 9 for tonight. From me and the entire team, good night. Enjoy the rest of your Valentine.
Saturday Night Live, brought to you by...
Good evening, everyone watching the show tonight. Welcome to NBS TV, your number